What's going on, everyone? It's Bernard. Steve, may I join the fun? I'd like to do like 3 million people or so already did and participate in your go-to album contest. First of all, congratulations on your amazing 1000 subscriber milestone. You've given me great support watching and commenting some of my videos, and I'm happy to have this opportunity to celebrate your channel. I remember many very interesting videos that you posted. There's one where you were showing how you were getting prepared for Record Store Day, complete with fitness sessions. Also, one where you were presenting all kinds of songs that are mistakenly perceived to be about love, and you were simply spot on and hilarious. I had a lot of fun preparing this entry, although I have to admit this was probably the hardest ever contest in terms of selecting which albums to talk about. And after many trials and errors, here's what I came up with. As obviously everyone can tell by my channel name and logo, I'm a big fan of Boston, especially the first 4 albums. This is my Friday Music copy of the debut. Our very own VC fellow, Ron Baudry, said that this particular pressing was sonically good, so I bought it and I'm not disappointed. And this is the Japanese Blue Spec CD that my good friend Robert kindly gave me as a contest prize. I'm keeping it sealed for now. Kenny Burrell, Midnight Blue. I discovered this one only a couple of years ago. It was recommended to me by a friend who admires the guitar work of Kenny Burrell. Kind of Blue by Miles Davis is a contender as well as a go-to album, but these days I think this one has the edge for me. When I long for a jazz sound to chill at night, maybe with a Grand Marnier or something, I tend to grab this one. This is my listening copy, and this one is a sealed Analog Productions copy. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to keep it sealed or not. So we'll see if this album will stick as a go-to album for me in the long run, but so far so good. I would say AOR is my go-to music style, so I picked 3 guitar-driven melodic rock / AOR albums from the late 80s, early 90s. This one is by the band There, and the title is Out of the Silence from 1988. They're from England, and as of last year they are still active. I have a CD reissue as well as a vinyl copy on the A&M record label. What's cool about this particular copy is that it has a gold promotion stamp at the back, as well as a black and white band picture, which I assume comes only with promotional copies. I find this album incredibly good. It's not a party album. It has lots of emotion, it's sincere, and it's timeless for me. I knew right from the start that I had to insert this one in my selections. This is Europe, Out of This World, also from 1988. Except this band comes from Sweden, as you probably all know. This album feels like a good old friend to me, so I go to it very often. I think one of the reasons why I love it so much, and I realized that the other day while playing it, is one, I can't help myself but play air guitar to it. The solos are killer. And 2, I find myself singing along all the way through. I own this one on 3 formats. The cassette I had when it came out, a CD, and a vinyl copy. Let's continue with the 3rd guitar-driven melodic rock AOR album that I chose as a go-to album. Mood Swings by the Canadian band Harem Scarum. Again, this is an album that's been with me since it came out in 1993. Today it's one of my absolute favorite albums to listen to. When I don't know what to play, I often think of this one. I don't have any vinyl copy of Mood Swings, but I have 3 CD versions. This is the one that I ordered from the Columbia House Record Club when it came out. And this is Mood Swings 2. It's actually a remaking of the album that they did for its 20th anniversary in 2013. The band re-recorded the tracks with an updated sound and added 3 new cool tracks that are in the same spirit. There is also a DVD included explaining the remaking process as well as audio files for 3 songs that you can use if you want to have fun remixing or rearranging the tracks. This is on the Italian Frontiers label, and I really like what they do. And finally, I have Mood Swings as part of this cool little CD box set containing Aris Karim's whole discography. I have only praise for this album. It's melodic, powerful, and focused. I just can't get enough of it. The next album I chose is by the Cuban collective Buena Vista Social Club. This is my best Spanish accent, by the way. This is a meaningful album to me and my wife. In fact, it's one of the few albums that we truly listened together. We've been listening to this album together since the early 2000s. It's my wife's favorite album, and it always reminds us of good times. I recently purchased it for her to replace our CDR copy. It contains a beautiful and extensive booklet. We just love it and we listen to it over and over again. It's traditional Cuban music and it's really captivating and inspiring. I'm not an expert in classical music by any means, but it's something that I incorporated in my musical or listening habits. And I seem to always go back to it for some kind of balance with all this rock music going through my head. And I seem to gravitate towards Beethoven all the time. I mostly listen to classical music on CDs, and this is my most significant one. I was just starting to work as a translator after graduating in 1998, and with just a few paychecks in the bank, I went to the record store and asked for a recommendation to get into classical symphonic music. And that's the CD I came out of the store with. This is his symphonies number 5 and 7, conducted by Carlos Kleiber with the Wiener Philharmoniker on the famous Dutch gramophone label. These performances were recorded in the mid-70s. Symphony number 5 is probably the most popular symphony of all times. Everyone knows the 4-note opening motif. Pa-pa-pa-pum. Talk about timeless music. To this day, this is still my go-to classical music album. Let's get back to rock for my last 2 picks, even though this one here kind of feels like a symphony as well. Here's Yes, Close to the Edge from 1972. Yes is my second favorite band of all time after Boston. And I've lived with this album since the early 90s, first on CD and then also on vinyl. I immersed myself so much in it as a young adult that I remember once I had a dream, and when I woke up in the morning I was convinced that I had heard the whole side A in my head. That was weird. And this to me is a brilliant masterpiece that I regularly come back to with great enjoyment. This last album does not need any introduction either. Moving Pictures by Canada's very own Rush. Every time I listen to it, I'm amazed at how tight and inspired they were for this album. And just like Close to the Edge, I like to have a CD and a vinyl version. I savor every second of this one, and this is a fantastic example of an album that I would naturally grab if I'm looking for something to listen to. Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, YYZ, and Limelight make for a perfect side A. These are 4 of my favorite Rush tracks. And side B is also nothing short of fantastic, with 3 awesome deep cuts to close the album. The Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, and Vital Signs. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed discovering some of my go-to albums. Thanks for swinging in, and till next time.